This video is the next video in the simultaneous equations set of videos. In particular, this video is looking at solving simultaneous equations algebraically, and it's type 3 of solving simultaneous equations algebraically, and the hardest type that we can come across in the junior cycle. As usual, we're using the elimination method for solving these simultaneous equations, and there's 5 steps in this elimination method. Now, you're probably fed up and tired of listening to me going on about the 5 steps, but they're very, very important, so I'm going to go through them again. So the first thing we have to do is we have to make the number of y's equal in both equations. So you look at the numbers in front of y, you see if they're equal. If they're not equal, you multiply them by something or some number to make them equal. Then you have a look at the signs. If the signs are equal, we're not great, but if signs are different, we're perfect. So if they are equal, we multiply each term in the second equation or the first equation by -1 to ensure the number of y's have different signs. Then we eliminate the y value. After that, we solve the equation for x, and then we sub the x value back into the equation to find the y value. So they're the 5 steps, and now we're going to go through a few examples of type 3 of solving simultaneous equations algebraically. Here, I'm just going to write out the 5 steps so we can have them right beside us. So again, step 1 is we make the y's equal. Step 2, y's with different sign. Step 3, we eliminate y. Step 4, we find x. And step 5 then, we find y. So the simultaneous equations that we're looking at here, there's 2 examples at the top of the page, and one is 5x minus 6y equals 13. 3x minus 4y equals 8, and the other one we have is 5x minus 2y equals 20 and 3x minus 3y equals 3. Now if you look at both of those equations, you can see that both numbers are nothing like equal. So for example, in the first one we have minus 6y and minus 4y, and in the second we have minus 2y and minus 3y. So we need to multiply both of the numbers in both examples here by something so that the equations are equal. So when we have simultaneous equations like this, both equations need to be changed. So by doing a few examples we have here, example 1 is 4x plus 3y equals 15 and 5x minus 2y equals 13. We start by the same way we would usually, and we have here, step 1 is to make the y's equal. In this case, we have 2 numbers in front of y that aren't 1, so 3 and 2. So what we can do is we just multiply the top line by 2 and the bottom line by 3. And that's what we're going to do to start. So 4 by 2 will give us 8. 3 by 2 will give us 6. And 15 by 2 will give us 30. 5 by 3 will give us 15. 2 by 3 will give us 6. And 13 by 3 will give us 39. Then we check to make sure the y's are equal. So you can see here we have plus 6y and minus 6y. So the y's are equal. There's a 6 in front of both. Step 2, we're looking at the signs, and we're going to see here, are the signs the same or are the signs different? And you can see that in front of the 6 on the top equation, it's plus 6, and on the bottom, it's minus 6. So the signs are different, so that's perfect. That's step 2 done. Then we can put a line underneath and we can eliminate the y. So we just add them all together. So the first thing we have here, of course, is 8 plus 15, which will give us 23. So 23x. And then 6y minus 6y, well, that will give us 0. And that's equal to 30 plus 39, which will, of course will give us 69. So then we have 23x is equal to 69. We need to find x in step 4. So to do that, we divide both sides by 23. 69 then divided by 23, that will give you that x is equal to 3. That's step 4 done. We've found x. And the last step then is step 5. We need to find y. So we take one of the equations from the start. So we have 4x plus 3y is equal to 15. We take the x, which is 3, and replace it. So 4 times 3 plus 3y is equal to 15. 4 times 3 will give you 12 plus 3y is equal to 15. Then we need the y on one side and all the numbers on the other. So I'm going to minus 12 from both sides here. And we'll be left with 3y is equal to 15 take 12. And 15 take 12, of course, will give you 3. And then we have 3y equals 3. But we need y by itself. So we're going to divide both sides by 3. and we'll get that y is equal to 1. So the two answers for this simultaneous equation is x equals to 3 and y equal to 1. Example 2 here, we have 5x minus 2y equals 20 and 3x minus 3y equals 3. So again, we're solving the simultaneous equation, so we have our 5 steps. And although you're probably sick and tired of me going through the 5 steps, I'm going to go through them really quickly here. Step 1, we have to get the same number in front of y. Step 2, y have to be different signs. Step 3, we have to eliminate y. Step 4, we have to find x. Step 5, we have to find y. And that's all of the 5 steps done. So here we have 5x minus 2y equals 20 and 3x minus 3y equals 3. So what we're going to be looking at is we're going to see the number in front of y. And in the first one here, you can see that it's minus 2y and the second one is minus 3y. So what we do is we just multiply the top line by the bottom, so by 3, and the bottom line by the top, which is 2. So we'll be left with then 5 by 3, which will give us 15x, minus 2 by 3, which will give us minus 6y, is equal to 20 by 3, which will give us 60. Then we have 3 by 2, which will give us 6x. 3 by 2 again, which will give us minus 6y, is equal to, again, 3 by 2, which will give us 6. Now, we go to step 1 again, and it's y has to be the same number. So you can see that there's a 6 in front of both y's here. So that's that step done. Step 2 then says y has to have different signs. And if you look at the signs here, in the top one we have minus 6, and in the bottom one we have minus 6. So we need to change the signs of one of the 6 y's. So we can choose the top or the bottom line. I'll choose the top line. So this needs to be multiplied by minus 1. So we'll get 15x by minus 1, which will give us minus 15x plus 6y is equal to minus 60. So you just change all of the signs. On the bottom then, you'll be left with 6x minus 6y is equal to 6. Then the next thing we have to do is check if we've done step 2 correctly. So y has to have different signs. We have plus 6y and minus 6y. So they do have different signs, so we're happy with that. Then we put a line underneath all of this, and we do step 3, which is we eliminate y. So here we have minus 15x plus 6x, and that's going to give you an answer of minus 9x. We have plus 6y minus 6y, which is going to give you an answer of 0, so we don't need to write that one in. And then we have minus 60 plus 6, which will give us minus 54. Now, so what we're left with then is minus 9x is equal to minus 54. We need to find x, so we're going to divide both sides by minus 9. And we'll be left with x is equal to 6. Then we have what x is now. We need to find what y is. So we go back and we write out one of the equations from the top. I'm going to choose the first one. And we replace the x with 6. So it becomes 5 times 6 minus 2y is equal to 20. Now, when you put 5 times 6 into your calculator, or hopefully you should know, you get 30. Minus 2y is equal to 20. Then we can get the 2y by itself on one side, so we need to minus 30 from both sides. And we'll be left with then minus 2y is equal to minus 10. Of course, we need to get y by itself, so we can divide both sides by minus 2. And we'll be left with y is equal to 5. So the two answers we get for this equation then, x is equal to 6 and y is equal to 5. Example 3 here is very similar to the last one. Again, we're dealing with a simultaneous equation, so I'm going to do out the steps really quick. So the y has to be the same number. Step 2, we have to have y with different signs. Step 3, we have to eliminate y. Step 4, we can find x. And step 5, we can find y. So in this one here, we have 5x minus 6y equals 13. and 3x minus 4y equals 8. What we're going to do is we're going to multiply the top line by 4 and the bottom line by 6. That will get the number of y's to be the same. So we have 5 by 4, which will give us 20x. 6 by 4, which will give us 24. And 13 by 4, which will give us 52. Then we have 3 times 6, which will be 18x. Minus 4 times 6, so we'll get minus 24y, is equal to 8 by 6, which will give us 48. Next then, what we need to do is go back and check step 1 to see if we've done it right. So it says y's have to be the same number. So we look at the y's and we see if the number in front of y is the same. 24 is in front of y. They're both 24, so that's that done. Step 2, we have to have y the different signs. You can see here we have 20x minus 24y is equal to 52 and 18x minus 24y is equal to 48. So there's 2 minuses. So to change that, I'm going to multiply one of them by minus 1. The top line stays the same. I chose the bottom line this time. And we're left with minus 18x plus 24y is equal to minus 48. Then we can put a line under that, and that's step 2 done. It's minus 24y and plus 24y, so we're happy with that. Then we have to eliminate y, so we add them together. So we have 20x minus 18x, which will give us 2x. We'll have minus 24 plus 24, which will give us 0, and we don't need to write that down. And then we have 52 take 48, which will give us the answer of 4. So step 3 is done. We've eliminated y. So we're left with then 2x is equal to 4. So we have to find x next. So we divide both sides by 2. And we'll be left that x is equal to 2. So that's finding x. Then we get the equation from the top. So we have 5x minus 6y is equal to 13. We replace x with 2. And we can figure out what that is. So 5 by 2 gives us 10. Minus 6y is equal to 13. What we'll do then is we can get y by itself. So we need to minus 10 from both sides. That leaves us with minus 6y is equal to 13 take 10. So we'll have 3. And then we can get y by itself by dividing both sides by minus 6. That will end up being y is equal to minus a half. So the 2 answers we get for this equation then are x equal to 2 and x equal to minus a half. So here you can see the questions that you're going to be doing. These questions are very similar to the 3 examples that I've gone through in this video. So what you should do is you should have those taken down as examples, and you should follow those examples as you're trying to do these questions here using the 5 steps, and hopefully there'll be no issues. If there are any issues, you can send me an email straight away and I'll get back to you and we'll sort it out. But if not, I'm hoping that the questions are okay. That then is the end of this video.